Hello FPL managers, yes, we're back again for another season of Fantasy Premier League. I know you must be asking, where has our updates been all preseason? Well, we have been quite busy paying attention to a lot of what's been going on in these preseason games, but we are back with a final draft. Yes, we're back straight into it. I've been taking a lot of stock, watching a lot of preseason games, so I've got enough information at least to go ahead and build our final draft for game week 1. Of course, you know how we do it. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're trying to build our subscriber base, so help a brother out. Click that red button and let's get straight into business. So usually when I build my game week 1 teams, I like to follow some set rules that help me narrow down the type of players I want in that team. So these are the rules. I like to go with players who are guaranteed minutes for starters, you know, players who are at least going to start from minute 1. So these are the type of players I want. I also want to go for players who have really good fixtures, at least for the first 3 to 4 game weeks of the season, because I wouldn't want to have a situation where I have to make a lot of transfers, when the season begins. So if they have good fixtures, they can come into my team. So that's the second criteria. The third criteria is they have to be really good at set pieces, at least for the outfield players. The defenders, maybe they could be scoring a lot of set piece goals. They could have high set piece goal scoring abilities. So if they have corner responsibilities or free kick responsibilities or taking penalties, these are the type of players I want in my team. So the fourth criteria, they have to have the X factor. By that I mean they have to be a talisman in their team. Now, they don't have to be the talisman in their team. They just have to be an important part of the team that ensures that they are needed, and they're the type of player that the manager could look to make things happen just in case things aren't going, their team's way. Okay, someone like Trent isn't the talisman at Liverpool. That would be Salah, but he's very, very important in Liverpool's style of play. So he's the type of player I would want in my team if I was building a game week 1 draft. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get into this draft proper. In goal, we have Flecken and Turner. These are 2 goalkeepers who rotate very well together. Now, Flecken could be Onana for you. A lot of FPL managers have Onana, or it could be Pickford or Johnston of Crystal Palace. Now, these goalkeepers rotate very well with Turner. Now, by game week 1, maybe I could have switched to Johnston, or I could stick with Flecken. But as long as I have a cheap goalkeeper from a mid-table team who is going to be making a lot of saves, and he rotates well with the backup goalkeeper who is as cheap as possible, in this instance Turner, then I'm very cool with that. I'm not going to be making a lot of goalkeeper transfers anyway, so I'm just going to go for a mid-table goalkeeper who's guaranteed to be making a lot of saves in their games. Okay, now that's for the goalkeeping department. Now in defense, I've gone for Mings, Gabriel, Estupinan, Chilwell and Baldock. Now these players are starters for their teams for 1, and then we have Gabriel, who's really good at set pieces, and Chilwell, who's very important to Pochettino and how he sets up this Chelsea team. And then we have Estupinan of Brighton, who has very, very good fixtures between game week 1 and 3. And then we've got Baldock, who's a £4 million defender who starts for Sheffield. Now, the only question mark for me in this defensive setup is Mings. Now, I could go for Mings. He rotates well with Chilwell. So for the difficult games for Mings, I could go with Chilwell, and then when he faces really tough teams, I could just bring in Mings. But I could take out the 500k out of Mings and just go for a £4 million defender and put that 500k in the bank, just in case when I get to game week 3 and there's been some price changes, I don't get priced out of moves that I intend to make. Or I could move that 500k into my midfield, and I'll speak about that when I get to the midfield. So that's the only question mark that I have for this defense. The rest of it, I'm quite comfortable with it. So let's get to the midfield. The midfield setup is Eze, Martinelli, Maddison, Salah, and Bruno. I really love this 5-man midfield because they are all on set pieces. We've got Salah, Bruno, and Eze, who are on penalties, and Maddison and Martinelli, who are on corners and free kicks. All starters for their teams, all guaranteed at least a huge chunk of the minutes, all guaranteed to start. So that's why I have gone with them. And the only question mark is for Martinelli. I might be moving him to Odegaard in case I downgrade Mings to a £4 million defender, and I don't intend to use that 500k, like leave it in the bank. I could just move it to Martinelli and then get Odegaard. And I could be moving from Maddison to Foden just in case the lineups come out and Foden starts in the way to Burnley. I would probably be making that switch. So those are the only minor tweaks that I could be making to this midfield. Everything else checks out. Players that I intend to bring in are starters and are on set pieces as well. So that's why I'm really loving this midfield, really. So the forward line is going to consist of Haaland, DCL, and Mubama. Haaland, of course, everybody owns Haaland. There's not much to say about that. As for DCL, he's a starter for Everton. He's got really good fixtures between game week 1 and 4. And then he's a really important aspect of Sean Dyche's gameplay. So that's the reason why I've gone for him. And I could easily downgrade from DCL to João Pedro, who's another player who's on penalties for Brighton, and he's probably going to be starting game week 1. If it turns out that he's doing really well for Brighton and DCL isn't doing so well, I could easily downgrade to João Pedro. I could also just upgrade to Harry Kane if he's still around at Spurs, isn't moving to Bayern Munich. So if he's still around, I could easily move to Kane by game week 3, and then he could be a captaincy option by game week 3. So that's the plan. This is the team for game week 1. I ran this team through the Fantasy Football Hub team rater, and with the way it's set up right now, it's at 95% on the team rating. I moved Maddison to Foden and the team rating didn't change. It remained at 95%. It only changed when I downgraded Mings to a £4 million defender and upgraded Martinelli to Odegaard, and then it was a slight change from 95 to 96. So maybe that's the move I need to make to be ready for game week 1. Hey, who knows? Okay, so that's the team, that's the setup for game week 1. As for captaincy, it's a really straightforward one. We had a really good season last season where we had 32 of our captain picks yielding results. That's mostly down to selecting Haaland, to be honest. And so in game week 1, there isn't much to talk about. Burnley away for Haaland. I think he should be starting well with that. So we're leaving the captain's armband on Haaland. I think most FPL managers are going to be doing that, and there's no real reason to go against that trend. So game week 1, our captain is going to be Haaland. He's already predicted to score the highest in game week 1. There's absolutely no reason not to leave the armband on him. Now, as for the clean sheet and scoring odds, we've got Manchester City and Brighton rated 55% chance of keeping a clean sheet in game week 1, away to Burnley and at home to Luton. We have Arsenal rated 52% chance of keeping a clean sheet, and then we've got Manchester United a close third. Then Newcastle, surprisingly, they're facing Aston Villa and they rated quite highly to keep a clean sheet, and then followed by Crystal Palace rated 5th. Now I might be switching from Flecken to Johnston just because of this, so don't be surprised if that happens. And he does rotate well with Turner for Nottingham Forest, so that's a good sign. And then as for the goal scoring odds, we've got Haaland, of course, 50% chance of scoring in game week 1, and then we've got Rashford, Salah, Bruno and Saka, and then Welbeck completes this list. So these are the players who are rated the highest to score in game week 1. So that's the video for today. That's the preview, the final draft for game week 1 of the FPL 2023-24 season. I hope that was helpful to you. Don't forget to look out for any changes. If there are going to be any changes, I'm going to let you guys know before the deadline. Follow me on Twitter at FPL Vendetta. I always follow back. And if that's gonna be all that's left to do is to wish you guys good luck for the new season. Have fun. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.